Welcome to this BVTV Spotcast, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. This is episode 2 in a duo with Lincoln and Perrin from Roth Read Photography. So let's say hello again to Lincoln Roth and Perrin Read. Hello, both.
Hi.
Hello again,
Malcolm.
How are you?
Hi.
Well, I first encountered you, when interviewing Keith Madeley about the brilliant Cones books. They really are exciting. My grandchildren love them, by the way, I thought there's no better way for my audience to see the value of professional photographic and creative input than to talk to yourselves, the team who have helped make these books so successful. I want you to talk me through your approach to such a client as the Cones books. Where do you start? What do you believe Roth Read adds to the creative process? So can you take me, please, through the workflow?
Of course, yes. The first thing that happens is somebody calls us up and we book a discovery call. So that's just a quick chat. We just want to find out a little about them, what kind of photography they're looking for, whether or not it's a corporate photo shoot or if it's a private photo shoot. And if it is corporate, we're talking about their brand and their objectives. This really just gives us a feel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just for their story. And it also helps us to figure out how open they are to the creative process and how much guidance they need. And if they wish to go ahead with the photo shoot, then we arrange a consultation, so to a little bit more in depth.
Right. Okay. So discovery first, discovery call, followed by consultation. Yeah. Then what? Yeah. Then what?
So then we have the consultation.
Yeah, they get more in depth as to their story, what it is they're trying to portray, who the target audience is. And then we find out a few bits and pieces. Yeah,
we create a storyboard, don't we? So storyboard's really important. So we build that up, particularly if they want a large selection of images. We're looking across what are you trying to tell through all these different images. Sometimes it's just one big image and we're just focused on that, aren't we?
Yeah.
And then we listen to their story first, their ideas first, and then we start to really build our ideas into that and build our creativity into it, and then see if at the end of the day if they're happy with the end product and our ideas, don't we?
Yeah, and so sometimes the creative juices are hitting and we're almost eager to jump in and take a picture. Oh, I've got some great ideas. What we can do, and those are great because
Yeah.
So with a book like the Cones books, and this is one the one that's from Caddick Construction, and there's 14 or 19, soon be 19 in the series. There, you are obviously having to think also about transferability or longevity. It's not a one-off. It's not a one-off job. This is it.
No,
that's right. And the focus really that Chris and Keith were looking for on that was really on them. So on them as the people behind the book. So we know that Chris writes them, but we also know that Keith is a huge ambassador for it, and he's always out there networking, isn't he, and working with these businesses that want to come in and have their stories told. So on this occasion, we were really advertising them, weren't we, and talking about them as a couple. So we went to the Grand Hotel in York because Keith has an affinity with there, because that was where Keith was interviewed back in the day, I think maybe back in the 50s, but it used to be the GNER headquarters. And he was interviewed there to become the youngest station master. So we chose that as a location, and him and Chris met us there, and it's just beautiful surroundings, isn't it?
I think Keith was saying that the room we photographed in, it looked like the room that he was actually interviewed in.
I know the hotel well. My daughter lives down there. So the Cones, though, it must have been a challenge for you, because it's totally different than say typical corporate work, wasn't it?
I guess so, but we approached it with the same attitude, didn't we? We And this room was so beautiful. It was just so nice. We took lots of different pictures and different angles of them both reading the book together or discussing the book or looking at it. And we just had these beautiful backdrops, didn't we? And then we did some pictures just of them on their own. Yeah. And we did some headshots for them there as well, didn't we?
And I think had we been focused on the Cones book as opposed to the author and her husband, Keith, would have been an entirely different shoot, because we were focused on the people and their stories, and the Cones book was also introduced.
Yeah.
If we'd been doing about the Cones books, we'd have probably tried to get one of those Cones lorries that lays the cones on the motorway, and had Chris and Keith sat on the back reading about the cones.
No, there's an idea for that. That's good.
But what you've actually done, though, that by going focusing on the authors, you've given extra dimension to the Cones books brilliantly, because obviously they're not just motorway, they're talking about railway, safety on the rail, and there's a whole range of other things that they're going to be about. So you've given a longer life, a wider life to it. So I congratulate you on that. And let me just remind our audience of your URL, your website address, which is, well, obviously, viewers, you can see it on the screen behind me. But for listeners, let me tell you and spell it out. All the W's, Roth, R-O-T-H, Read, R-E-A-D. That's Roth Read photography.com. rothreadphotography.com. Everyone wants success with their product or their service, but the way of achieving that success is constantly changing, especially within the world of marketing. There are so many considerations to take into account, so many ways that a story can be told persuasively, or it can fall down. I trust my visit to Roth Read Photography has shown that for true success, you need professional support. Thanks, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
We've had a lovely time, haven't we?
It's been great.
Wonderful speaking.
And like when we did the photo shoot for the Cones books and Keith and Chris, every time I'm driving out anywhere and I see a cone, I always think of Constantine, one of the characters from one of the books. I can't help it. So I hope that anytime you think about photography, you think about Roth Read, because we'll be there for you.